Hi, everybody. Good morning. Testing out for sound control. I'm thinking it's going to be a little noisy traffic, Sunday traffic, but hopefully I am audible. My name's Margaret Pin. Welcome to Booktube. I'm going to talk about author stuff today. So I have specific things I try to rotate through the channel so that I cover my bases. And I'm going to be doing tags next week. I did readathon progress last week. So this week is going to be author goals and an update because I did a video about my author goals at the end of January, February, March. That means the end of Q1. We're in April now, and I can do a little update on those goals and a little happy surprise for this week. So the surprise for this week is this. My latest book, ORLA Rafferty Seeks Her Fortune, is on sale for 99 cents. And the Remnants box set, ebook box set, is on sale for $3.99, which is what ORLA usually is. So if you haven't gotten either of those, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, any of the places that Draft to Digital distributes to, they'll be on sale and you can snap up your copy. Let's see. They're historical fiction. They're set in Scotland. They're set in the early 19th century. So if you're a historical fiction lover, you should find some fun details and appreciate the immersive setting, I hope, because that's one of my favorite things when I read books. So yeah, that is the little surprise sale, and it's because next Sunday is my birthday. So I will be streaming on my birthday. Actually, it's not $3.99. The box set is $4.44 because it's going to be my 44th birthday. So, yeah, so that is what's coming up, and that's a little special surprise and prize for those who are attending. They get a little heads up on that. And then before I start on the author goal update, I just wanted to say, because a lot of people are doing really fun tags that talk about Booktube community, in terms of my AuthorTube and Booktube community, you guys are a real lifeline. So I just wanted to say thank you. Every time I have to record my progress, I have to be accountable. I have to actually get some work done. And it's not because I feel guilty, it's because I need content and I need to be honest about it. And so it keeps me honest. So yeah, that's a good excuse for figuring out what I'm going to put on the channel and keeping me flying straight, right? All right, so I've pinned the comment that has the link in it to the books on sale. And then I'll just say hello to the chat. Hi, Elaine. Thank you for the hat. I said, yeah, Canva can be fun. I would not have known how to do the paisley hat without the snap to fit Canva capabilities. So that's fun. Elaine says she's listening and finishing Sunbird by Wilbur Smith. I've definitely seen Wilbur Smith on some huge tomes. And I have too many partly read books. Yeah. And she agrees with me on Canva having fun features. Katma is here. She says, looking very cozy today. Yes. So the house that I'm in is an old house, and I'm in the front room, which doesn't have any heating. So it was pretty cold. And I was working in the kitchen, which is warmer because there's a heater. And then I thought, I can just pull a heater in here. So I have a heater next to me. It's like 50 degrees. But I also was just cold because I'm prone to cold and have bad circulation in my hands and stuff. So yes, I will be very cozy for the next few days. It's like the high is 60 for the next few days. So it's a little step back into spring. Caroline says, yay, surprise sale. Excellent. Happy 44th birthday. Thank you. That'll be next week on Easter. And I don't know what I'll do, but I'll be streaming and I'll be doing a tag to celebrate. So that's the coming up news. All right. So, Q1 update. Just to remind you what my goals were from that video in January. I have 5. The first one was draft book 2. Goal 2 was self-edit the draft in May. Goal 3 was send to a professional editor in August. Goal 4 was to get some sort of regularity or planning to my social medias, including YouTube, Blue Sky, and Patreon. Goal 5 was decide on the special series for August. That I usually do. I've done it for 2 years, so I was thinking I'll need to do something for this August as well. So, number 1, did I draft book 2? Yes. So if you've been on the last few live streams, I did give a little author update. I took until April 3rd, and then that first Friday of April was when I was like, we're done. I have written the final scene. I actually wrote 2 final scenes because I couldn't stop, and then I thought, no, it's done. I don't want to be Lord of the Rings about this. So, yeah, it's about 55,000 words. There are definitely some places that need patching, and I've got a list of priorities for research. And in case you're curious, the priorities for research include, I have kind of a long list here, but I'll give you some clumps of things. So background research into the positions that girls would have had in cotton factories. What do nuns of the day do? What are their duties? Was there a service orientation and seclusion orientation divide back then? How did they dress? All that sort of stuff. Travel distances. This is one I always have to revisit because I never remember like the rule of thumb. And I think the rule of thumb for traveling by carriage is going to be different from Ireland and England. And it takes place in both places for this book. So I have to check into that and give myself a little table. We have a new character I'm trying to introduce, and I have that person once, but I need another more memorable interaction. So there's like, I need to figure out where that coincidence will happen. Layout. So as I said last time I had a live stream, I often do like a little map, like a like you get from an architect of the overview of your apartment or house. For special rooms that I'm often in. So for this will include a rectory. This will include someone's home, which is mill factory housing, and places around Manchester. So I need a couple different like layouts so that I don't be inconsistent when I say she turned and faced the door when like the last time I said it, she turned and faced a wall because this isn't Harry Potter. So yeah, layouts are helpful. A few timeline things. I have some things happening very quickly over a weekend with multiple parties, so I need to make sure those are realistic, and also over seasons. So constantly in the drafting of this, I was like, whatever seasonal appropriate thing is happening, because I couldn't focus on whether it should be in the fall or the spring, and so I just left it for editing me, which we'll see if that was a wise decision. Another thing is that as I was writing through, I was writing in a register that was too high class. So I have to go back and like tune my ear to a bit different of an accent. First of all, Mancunian, which will be a bit different for me. I need to find some sources for that. And second of all, laboring classes, so like mill workers. So I'm thinking I need to go read North and South again or something like that. It's a little off, like 30 years, but I think the voice and the register might help tune me back to the right place, you know. Some costume details. There's another big personage that's going to make a cameo, and it's going to be a real personage, but I had put in someone that I thought might work, and then I looked up and he hasn't been born yet, so that's not going to fly. So I need to find a different politician who is going to make a cameo in a few different chapters, and I need to decide what his politics need to be so that he serves the purpose that I want him to. So there's that. And then a few things about technology, like water in the house. How would you do that? legal system. Like, I am very unfamiliar with the legal system in the UK, and I've tried, it's kind of like the travel distances. Every time I try to look something up about how it worked, it just doesn't stick. So the present day system is very incomprehensible to me. But my own American system, present day, is also pretty incomprehensible. So I not only have to figure out what mine is like, what the UK one is like, what the UK system of the past was like. That's like 3 layers to sort of work through, because I want people now to be able to understand like the differences and the power dynamics of that. So yeah. And then like I left one character hanging out of the picture, haven't met him, but he's constantly talked about. So I'm like, oh, I have to decide what happens to him. So that's a plot thing. But yeah, that's the exciting like things that I will have to prepare for when I go back in May, probably mid-May, to start, or earlier, it could be earlier, to start researching and making those decisions. And because I have decision paralysis sometimes, I think I'll probably try to start early and focus on one and give myself a break. So have like, a longer time, but spaces in between, because I have a handful of different jobs. I can concentrate on one thing, take a break, go to a different job, and then come back and be better at that task than if I had been working on it for hours without respite, if you will. So anyway, that's how I operate. If you are an author and that sounds batshit crazy to you, let me know. Because I think it helps all of us to know that we all have these different ways of operating and accommodating our own foibles. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit freer in how you work. And you can tell me what weird thing you do to make your system work for yourself, because that'll make me feel better. So that is how the draft is going, and like plans for the future. So that's goal number 1. Hi, Brian. Brian was just on a wonderful live stream with Katya. If you saw me on Page Turners with Katya a few weeks ago, she is starting a series on Wednesdays that is about creativity. So she does an intro and a long sprint and a sort of gathering back together. And Brian was her second guest. So we got to hear a little bit more about MacArthur's Bloody Butchers and Brian's writing process. So Brian, if you have any funny foibles to share, definitely drop one in the comments. That'd be fun. And Anita is here. AF Stewart, hello, hello. Foible away. Anita, fellow author, let us know. So yeah, so that is goal number 1 and the progress. Goal number 2, self-edit in May. So it's not May yet. I need the space between, so we haven't done that yet, but we're not behind on it. So hooray. Goal number 3, send to a professional editor in August. Again, not August yet. Haven't done it yet. Not behind. Yay. Goal number 4. Okay, now here's where we get to not author things, but like brand company related things. And this was getting a sort of grip on a social media regularity planning exercise. So definitely failed on that in March. Did not post once to Patreon. Yeah. So March was drafting month, and I sort of apologized for that in my latest post on there, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. April, I've already posted once and twice, and I have a third one going up tomorrow. So we are ahead of the ball on April. And if you follow, you will see those fun little posts. And I will probably continue with like the photo series, some public, some for members, on into the future, because it seems more manageable, and like drop a author update or excerpt in there every so often. I don't want to put some of the stuff from the very raw draft, because it could completely change, and I don't want to mess up people's expectations. So we're gonna hold off on that, but I'm planning to do an excerpt, so stay tuned for that. Oh, and instead of stay tuned, I should put this up, which is there we go. There's the link for Patreon, and you don't need to pay, don't need to be on a paying tier. You can just follow for the photo blog stuff. And just to take a moment here, in case you're wondering where I am in the beautiful new location, I am in San Luis Obispo, California, which is where I grew up. And this cold old house where I need a heater and a couple layers also has beautiful plants, which my mom is the tender of, and a hull tree, which I talked about for my history book review because it was about design and furniture design and history of the 19th century. So that was fun. Yeah. All right. So that's the goals up to number 4, social media planning. So, YouTube, I've gotten it down to a pretty regular thing. And as I said at the beginning, you guys are my lifeline for keeping me on task, keeping me honest, keeping me remembering that I have this business and it's not just a hobby. Like I need to come back and do things regularly. So, the YouTube one is set. It's kind of like, I've got my walks in. I haven't figured out how to do strength training. I haven't figured out how to get better at cardio, but like at least I have the baseline. That's what I consider YouTube. Blue Sky and Patreon, I am still trying to figure out my rhythms. So Blue Sky during March, I posted every day. 1 as part of the March of the Writers run by JD Estrada, and 2 just to report my word counts each day so that I was sort of getting to the finish line each day, right? After I finished my minimum of words is when I would post and I'd be like, okay, good. Now I can get off and do something else and reward myself. So that was good. And Patreon, as I said, got left on the back burner, but we're back in business. But it's still not feeling coherent, right? So at one point I had like the newsletter and I had Twitter, and it was all sort of working together as a machine for different audiences, a very low grade machine, but still. And so I'm still trying to figure out, like, do I post on Blue Sky to let people know I'm streaming? It's a very low audience. So I'm like, does that help the people who are skimming to know and hop over? Or do I keep that for environmental causes and more like climb-a-thon focused things? Because that's who I'm following. So that hasn't decided itself yet. So we're not there on number 4 for Blue Sky, and Patreon, we're getting there. The photo things is 1, but I still want another offering. So that's still in process, and I haven't had time to think through it strategically since January, because I was doing research and traveling and taxes and all these other jobs. So, maybe I'm trying to think about that now because I'm revisiting and you're making me think about it. See how that works? That's goal number 4. And then number 5 was about the special series in August. So if you haven't been here for one of those before, 2 years ago, I did fireside chats and I invited people over to talk about books they're writing or books they're reading and do a little sprint. Last year, I took the energy level down and had it be writer wind down. So it was like giving yourself a little time to unwind if you were feeling a little tense. And that was the summer of 2024. So I wonder why we all would have been feeling a little tense. So now, okay, hold on a second. Now, 2025, what do I want the tone to be? I want it to be something meaningful in books and reading and resisting, and holding the line and like thinking deeply about things. And I've got a list of people who I think I want to ask to collaborate with on that, but I don't have a name, so I can't really pitch it. And I don't have a tone or a vibe yet. So I'm still processing that. But if you're interested, drop me a line anywhere you can find me. Oh, and speaking of where you can find me, this wasn't on my author goals list, but my website is back in operation. So the SSL certificates had expired, which meant it wasn't secure. But now I talked to someone and paid $200, and now we're back in business. So now my website won't give you alerts that you're entering an insecure site, but he gave me a list of all these other things I should do, and I'm debating how much of them I should do and how much money I should spend. So anyway, at least I'm on the internet again at margaretpinard.com. But I would recommend just visiting the book buy link at Books to Read for the book sale if you guys want, because I don't know if PayHip will work. It still has not worked once in the 2 years or so that I have had it. So, the goal is in process. The 5th goal about the special series in August. I do like that I plan to have my book sent off to the editor while I do a big, high, intense thing in August. And I was like, see, that is planning. That is what planning will get you. You do the thing, you send it off to be someone else's problem, and then you can focus on something else for that week. I'm like, yes, that is the goal. I think I also had an idea about doing a book tag, and I sent it to Gareth to see if he wanted to collaborate on that, but he didn't respond, and it was on Voxer, so now it's unreachable because we don't have the premium version. So I'll have to remember what that idea was on my own. Modern life, modern capitalist life. What can I say? Jim is here. Hello, Jim. Hey, y'all. And Leslie is here. Hello, saying finally caught alive. Good morning, friends. And Laura is here. Hello. I'm admiring the big plant stand. You can't even see the half of it. Look, it keeps going. It keeps going. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 columns in 2 stands that are L-shaped. So yeah, my mom knows how to work it. And she loves her African violets. So there you go. Brian says, most recent foible is that I can only write edit while standing at the kitchen bar counter. Edit. You're supposed to edit sober, Brian. Don't you remember the iconic quote? Yeah, that's pretty funny. Anita says, yeah, I'm still figuring out Blue Sky too. Yeah. I like it. It's just not a gathering place for my people yet. I did see a very fun video on TikTok that was someone sharing how gleeful they were that Adobe was hounded off the platform, sort of. Adobe came on, and all the artists and photographers and graphic designers and writers who use that stuff took their post as an opportunity to explain why they hated Adobe and their manipulative AI scraping practices. And so Adobe deleted all their posts. I was like, yes, see, we have power. We have power in certain avenues. So just got to stand united. Kappa says both the fireside chats and wind downs were lovely. That's good to hear. So I need like a new title, and I just keep thinking about August and nothing is coming. So if you want to participate and have a good name, especially, let me know. Laura is here. Another Laura. Why, hello there. The other Laura says, so jealous. Yeah, she's got the green thumb. I have the black thumb. So yeah. Elaine says, lol, Voxer. That, Margaret, is why paper and pencil notes before hitting send button. Yeah. Yeah. I know. And okay, so here's the thing. This is for the book. So like I do take paper and pencil notes, just not for everything that I send. This is, let's see. Why did I open it up to where I just like taped a bunch of stuff together? Because I think you guys will find it funny. There it is. So I was at different points using different notepads, and I just taped it all in the notebook and the graph paper pad, so it would all be in one place, so that this would be like the editing Bible. Because I don't trust Scrivener anymore. But yeah, I've been working in this graph paper pad, which is lovely, Rhodia French paper. And when I did that history book review, my last wrap up, this is where I was taking all the notes because, yes, I do own the John Murdoch book, but there are so many tabs that I realize it has become counterproductive. It doesn't help me find anything because there's too many. So I wrote down the topics that I had underlined and sort of starred the ones that I was going to use as excerpts or that were germane to research and stuff. So again, another little process foible or hack if you're so inclined. This is the person who I'm thinking about for the character that I'm going to drop in as a cameo. I don't know if anyone knows about Daniel O'Connell, Irish politician in the 19th century and called the Liberator for getting a lot of civil rights for Catholics. This is a biography. It's not a biography. He says it's a long essay. He refuses to call it a biography because it's not good enough. I'm like, whatever, Raymond Mully, whatever. He's talking about Daniel O'Connell, so it's biographical. But yeah, the tabs are getting out of hand here too. I'm about halfway through. I haven't gotten to the picture insert. You know how they put in like one batch of pictures. I'm almost there though. And it's not the right person, but it's the right timeline. So when I continue to read through this, I'm going to be keeping my eye open for his contemporaries who might fill that spot, but he'll be the placeholder for now. So very interesting guy. He was born in a place called Derrynane in Kerry, County Kerry. And I have never been that far. I've never been to the Ring of Kerry, but apparently it's very close. And yeah, I just interested in the radical revolutionaries. Oh, speaking of which, we've also got a radical priest in Mayo, which I just picked up on this trip. So because I have so much research to do with the religious orders to try to get a sense of how they reacted. It's a little bit in the Daniel O'Connell book, but I thought this would be pretty good, even though it's a bit later. The rise and fall of an Irish nationalist, Father Patrick Lavelle, 1825 to 1886. So it's going to be a little later because he's born in the time that I want to highlight, but should be good. Should be good. Catpaw says, wow, how did I miss that? I don't know. I just saw it reported by someone else on TikTok. So I'm not in the designer crowd on Blue Sky for sure. Brian says, I just stand at the bar, no drinking. Though sometimes I listen to music and dance around about. Dance around, I think you mean. Yeah. 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 Back in my Portland apartment, I've got different like seating arrangements. So there's one at the desk and there's one on the couch and there's one at the table. And I sort of change depending on, I don't know, like the posture needed for whatever job I'm doing. I don't know what it is. It's obviously just witchcraft. So I don't know where the light is coming from. That's like keeps breaking in, but apologies for the inconstant lighting. Sort of distracting. Catpaw says, my mom had very green thumbs too. Loved African violets and Christmas cactus. Yeah, that's up there. Big Christmas cactus fan. And porcelana. I haven't heard that one. And I've not inherited that gene, but I love cacti and succulents. Yeah. Yeah. They do very well here in California. Not so much in Oregon. So yeah, they'll still stay here. The other things that I will be picking up, I mean, I'm also reading for Herkyed. So as a booktuber, I'm trying to finish the challenge, but I'm also doing research reads, and they don't work for Herkyed. So I'm going to have to try to braid them together. I found this at Phoenix Books, Personal Narrative of the Irish Rebellion of 1798, which, while not directly helpful, is sort of affecting the character still because it's a generational thing that has been running through and destroying relationships based on the need to escape from this rebellion and its consequences. So I found that and thought that was cool. This is one I found in Portland before I left. The Hidden History of Glasgow's Women, The Thanyu Factor by Elspeth King. And again, not direct, but I'm looking for little tidbits that just sort of fall in my path. And I figure this would be really neat. This is going through a lot of history, sort of cherry picking, and that's fine because I just need like a couple of people in the 19th century to be like, oh, I can make a reference here or there, or use that character as inspiration, you know. I thought that's neat. And then the last one, the bottom of the plant stand here, is one that I'm currently reading in bits and pieces for my cozy slow reads on picture books. So it's another design history, and it's got lots of pictures about craftsmanship, but it's looking specifically at utopian designers. So especially, I think, mid-century is when this starts up. I already talked about Morris. I talked a little bit about the Silver Studio, which is later. So we'll see. This is starting earlier than Morris. And so people trying to get into socialism, people trying to prevent the harm, trying to reverse the harm that industrialization is doing to society in any way they can. So that's what's really catching my eye there. Sorry, congestion, allergies are perennials. Haha. So that's my author update, and I'm going to put up the banner for events to see if anyone has other events. Boop. Let's put that up. I don't have anything because I have taken a few days break from one job, and I'm not going back to the writing or drafting, researching yet. I'm still doing the rentals supervising job this week, and have a couple projects to do for the magazine, audiophile magazine job. So, like I said, I work better doing task switching, and the phrase "a change is as good as a rest" is definitely my motto at this phase of my life. So I will be just keeping up with my bare bones YouTube schedule, which is every Sunday and every other Wednesday. So I'll see you next Sunday. Like I said, the sale for Orla Rafferty and the Remnants box set in ebook form will be this week. The single book is 99 cents, so it's never been that cheap. And the box set of 3 books is $4.44 for my 44th birthday. So you've got 1 week to snap those up on any channel that Draft Digital distributes to. So that's Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords, Tolino, Gardeners. There's lots of different countries where it distributes in different names that I don't recognize. So hopefully one of those makes its way to you. And yeah, that is the pinned comment in the chat. So if you're watching this on the replay, know that the sale will go from today, the 13th, to the 20th, Easter. So you can find yourself a new historical fiction book to read if you are within that time frame. Does anyone else have any coming attractions? I'll pause here. That's it for me today. So just wanted to say thanks everybody for keeping me accountable and my eyes on the goal. StreamYard now has a share your referral link conveniently down below. I'm not going to do that because they're not a great product anymore. What are you going to do, right? Okay. So, this has been the Q1 author update for my book business, Taste Life Twice. I gave you a little bit of detail over what I'm going to be researching over the next couple months. And also dropped the link for the sale on Orla Rafferty Seeks for Fortune and Remnants as a box set. So hopefully some of you will avail yourself of the great deals. And I hope to see you next Sunday, Easter Sunday, for a little bit. I'll be doing a birthday tag that I looked up and saw someone else had done for their 44th birthday. So I was like, well, obviously this is the one I need to choose. So that's all for today. Have a lovely Sunday. Thank you, Cat Paw. I'm going to go look at plant stands. So, all right, I'm glad I inspired someone to do something. Excellent. Awesome reads ahead. Yeah, good for People April and good for not Historathon because it's the wrong part of the year. But yeah, I do like learning about things and incorporating them into my historical fiction. So thanks everyone for watching, and that's it for me. I hope it's wonderful where you are. You get to touch grass outside, spend some time in the sunshine. Happy spring and happy reading. Take care, everybody. Bye.